more importantly, Tyler Harris from Hoosiers for Good, Indiana's official NIL collective, joins us now. How is it going, man?
Good. I'm not sure, I'm more important than that, but I appreciate the nice comments.
Oh, absolutely. Well, everybody thinks you're in charge of recruiting now. It's your responsibility to make sure Indiana lands those guys, and so just wanted to make sure that you got that laid on you.
Yeah, well, I looked at my employment agreement before I came on, and I didn't see that anywhere. So,
not in the job description.
Not in the job description.
Not in the job description. I said earlier, I'm just kidding with Tyler, but I said earlier that is not his responsibility. His responsibility is dealing with the people, raising the funds, building the Hoosiers for Good and Hoosiers Connect up along with Colin Hartman. And one of the things you guys are doing for that new is the event that's coming up at Huber's at the end of this month, which is always an incredibly popular event with, I don't know, 1,000 people, 900 people, I think. It's always sold out. It's a unique opportunity. It's the only one that I know of its kind for Indiana, and it's been going on for 3 decades. The Southern Indiana Alumni Association started this as just having Bob Knight come down and talk. I think it was around 91 that they started this, and it has blossomed into this. Then the varsity club kind of took over, and now this has become an operative for the NIL collective for Indiana. And I sent out a story that I think that this is actually really cool because it gives other sports besides basketball the opportunity for their coaches to meet with local business owners. There could be a business owner that their daughter is a big volleyball player, big in the ball, because there's Southern Indiana has there's big volleyball clubs in Louisville. Steve Ayer doing a good job building that program up, but the Big Ten's the toughest conference in the country in volleyball, so they've got to be better than what you would think, and that takes this baseball, whatever the case is. But it's a great event, and for that, and anything different that you guys are doing, or what were you looking? How are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, the bar's been set high, and so we've put in a lot of effort to make sure that we're meeting that standard that's been set in the past. I think there'll be uniqueness to it. We don't want to change a lot, but it'll be unique because there'll be athletes there. And there'll be the same lineup of speakers as there has been historically. But there'll be athletes there. We'll be able to auction off some athlete specific things. Again, so there'll be a unique twist this year, but we're just trying to make sure we set the bar high. It's great for us, purely from an awareness standpoint. You get 1,000 people in a venue. That's 1,000 potentially new people that are hearing about you. So a great opportunity for us to be down there. It's a great event, and again, we're just trying to make sure that it's as successful as it has been in the past.
And it also is, I would venture to say that most of those people do not get it, and by those people, I mean the Southern Indiana fans, probably don't get an opportunity to go to games, whatever reason. Don't have tickets, they work, it doesn't matter why. And this is their only annual IU connection. And it's a huge thing. And people come to buy things, to auction or whatever it is, and they look forward to it. But it is just become a freaking huge event.
Yeah, and again, this is our first try at something like this on this stage that is this big. But if we see some really good success, this is something we can replicate around the state, I think. And
I was thinking that very thing.
Yep. And so we'll get a good taste out of this, and but it'll be great because we'll be able to bring players down and those Southern Indiana folks that can't make it up to a game, still get to meet players from the team from a variety of sports. And that's the nice thing about NIL is there's that fan connection that you can create through these things.
Yeah, and like we have listeners all over all over the world, but specifically in the state or various stations. And I was already thinking, I'm like, man, I'm surprised they don't do this. That I was surprised Indiana wasn't already doing this because it is so popular, uh, and there's no way that, let's say, Fort Wayne, Evansville, uh, well, we've done. There's just great IU audiences there. Indiana with it's the third largest living alumni association.
Second or third, yeah.
India, I know there's, and Chicago is the second largest city with over 20,000 IU alumni there. This is something that Indiana is poised on to really be set, and I think you guys have done a great job of getting this going and building it. And that's the thing, is building it. And Indiana seems to be doing things a little differently. These events. And earlier, another thing I said, that coaches are not allowed to talk about dollars with players. I'm sure I would venture to say some do it anyway, though. They just cheat. Um, how do the conversations with the new athletes go? The guys they're trying to recruit, how is that communicated to them officially and legally, I guess I'd say?
Well, I'm not in the room or on calls, but if I'm guessing, I presume it is using what current student athletes are getting, and there's no shortage of opportunities that current student athletes have, and not just opportunities, big opportunities, and so I think that's probably communicated, and I'd venture to guess that the student athletes are also communicating with the prospective athletes
Which
on
is
just
allowed.
current opportunities here.
Yeah, they can.
Yep.
Coaches can tell recruits what other guys have done and received and that, and but we hear about everyone uses Nigel Pack. It's just easy. So let's use the Nigel Pack example. We all knew before he even got to Miami that he signed a 2-year, $800,000 deal. We know that we now know that Hunter Dickinson got screwed over at Michigan, was told things that he didn't receive, and made less than 6 figures, and probably is now making just under 7 figures. We know all that, but we never hear much about Indiana guys. How is that information getting out and those deals being made like that?
I think a lot of the concerns that people have related to NIL are things that would have been concerning had they just knew about it, how it happened previously before NIL, because a lot of this stuff happened before NIL. We don't need to joke about it. It's the reality. I think the concern is when people see it, right? And so some people are taking that same approach. There's a lot of publicity, right? A lot of it is a recruiting tool. So if someone talks about it, let's just use the Nigel Pack. That's a great recruiting tool. Something that public. It also can bite you later, which I think we'll see at some point.
And it did at Miami, actually. It didn't bite them, but instantly, Isaiah Wong, their star, said, "Wait, well, what the hell?" And so he said, "I got to have mine," which he did. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I think, what you're talking about there.
Well, that, and I think the NCAA will get involved, and they're not going to be going after NIL related things. That you're going to see violations out there that happen that they're hesitant to point to NIL, but there was recruiting conversations or conversations that took place with donors or boosters prior to them coming to that school, and they can nail them. They'll nail them on that. And I think there's probably 10 to 15 current investigations going on that nobody knows about. So that process has to play out. And again, that's just the system. And it's hard because no one gets punished in real time. And so some people take the short-term benefit for the long-term ramifications down the road. IU's never been that way. I kind of like that. We care about the right things, and we're going to win the right way. It's not as graceful when you win and knowing you're cheating. I like winning the right way.
I said that earlier. I said the one thing that I do know from all the people that I talk to, and that's from inside people, from players, Indiana doesn't cheat. I don't care what anybody thinks. They don't cheat. And by cheating, I'm talking about the cheating. Something that I firmly believe in with this. Everything has gone 180 degrees in favor of the players, which is fine. But they have almost a little too much power now. They have more power than a professional athlete. There, and I really wonder if they need that much power. Anybody needs that much power. I think there should be contracts. If you're going to get paid, cool. Well, sign a 2-year contract, because it has changed the game so much. And I would and never in a million years now, but I want to be a college basketball coach. Not only do you have to recruit these damn high school kids, you have to recruit the portal every year, and you have to recruit your own roster now. Again, so I think there should be contracts. Any chance do you see that in the future?
Yeah, I think we're a couple years, 3 to 5 years away from that, but we'll get there. A lot of things still have to play out, but it's inevitable at this point. I think revenue sharing is inevitable.
Ooh, that's a slippery slope there.
Yeah, and I think but that gives the opportunity to clean some of this stuff up, right? You can put them on contracts and require services for extended period of time, and agreeing, with however that contract's worded, which cleans up the transfer portal. It probably helps, with the current NIL environment. It probably lessens, or pushes that to a side just a little bit. So I think it'll clean it up. I really do. But I think it's got to play out, and it's probably 3 to 5 years away.
Yeah, and can you imagine just having a salary, a set, it doesn't have to be large, but a set salary for every player on the team? Basically Texas has that. Every offensive lineman gets at least $50,000.
You got to be on scholarship, though.
Well, details.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I think I see that coming one day, and they can make their own other deals. But then when you think about that, okay, basketball is easy to do that. You got 13 scholarship players, but then there's women's basketball, then there's baseball. I don't even think you want to talk about football with 85 scholarship players. What the hell are you going to do there at a school that football is not the sport? But that's discussions for another day. But those are things that I see happening. Huber's coming up on the 31st. Again, we talked about that. Tickets available. We put the link out. John, do you have that handy? Please, if you do, put that up again. But you can go straight to the link. Tyler, what is that link?
John just put it up. HoosiersForGood.org/Hubers. So yeah, that'll be a great event. There'll be a lot of people. It'll be fun. It's an awesome venue. If you've never been down to Hubers, it's a beautiful place. So it'll be a really fun event. And then 2 weeks later, we have our golf outing at French Lick, and that'll be another huge event down in French Lick. People will stay at the Baden, play the Pete Dye course. So it'll be a really fun event.
Now, the French Lick golf outing, is that an invite only?
Well, we are.
Well, there's a gala soon, or something with it, right?
There is. There's how it'll work is people arrive on Sunday, June 11th. They'll be able to do the Pete Dye course practice round on that day, and then there'll be a gala that night, and then everybody will stay at the Baden. The next day will be the scramble on the Dye course, and then you can stay again Monday night, June 12th. So it'll be fun. 2 rounds at the Dye course, 2 nights at the Baden. There'll be an awesome gift package for all the participants. So it'll be a really fun event, and meet players, meet coaches, all those type of things.
And where do they go to subscribe or to participate in that?
Yeah, it's HoosiersForGood.org/signature golf dash outing. I'll send you the link. It's hard to remember.
Yeah, send it, and then of course we'll put it out as soon as we do,
Yeah.
and we'll send that out again. But that, yeah, anything that goes on in French Lick is freaking awesome. That's enough said there. What's going on your end that people don't know about that you'd like to spread the joy about?
Yeah, we just announced a class of athletes. My days are coming together. I can't remember if it was earlier this week or last week, but just announced a new class, 24 new IU athletes that span across 11 sports and 10 charity partners. We've got some new charity partners in this class, and I think we're up to 23 charitable organizations that we're making an impact with, which is just awesome. I hear all the great stories from charities after events and just how meaningful this process is to them. And so it really shows we're onto something with this, that if we can use NIL in a way that's going to really help the community, get these kids out to make an impact, teach them valuable lessons of giving back. This community can be a special place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's looking forward to all of it. Indiana has done an incredible job staying on top of this. You have done an incredible job guiding it. Colin Hartman along with you. How can people think that you have to be a $100,000, $50,000 donor to participate? And that is just absolutely not the case. There are so many. You guys have options for everybody on every level to participate and be a part of, and packages where they are a part of and receive things.
Yeah, no, and if especially on Hoosiers Connect, if we can be that first organization across the country that can figure out how to get the masses involved, that's a huge impact. One thing that's been a struggle with all these groups across the country is that subscription model, similar to Hoosiers Connect. And you don't have to be a millionaire, you don't have to do all this to participate. And if we can get the masses involved at even the lowest level, or even just the monthly, that's a huge impact. If we get 100,000 of IU alum given $10 a month, that's a lot. And so I would really encourage people to get involved, know you're helping, know you're making an impact, and in the process, either getting some great benefits in return or seeing these kids get out in the community to impact some special causes.